So glad you could join us. Welcome to Stay at Home Connect. I'm Phyllis Jackson.
13 employees of Fulton County's Election Preparation Center test positive for coronavirus. A statement from the county's website says 2 initial employee cases led to additional testing, where 11 more were discovered. The Department of Registration and Elections is working with the county's Board of Health and the Department of Real Estate and Asset Management on mitigation, daily rapid tests for employees, disinfection, and ventilation measures. Officials say none of the affected workers had any contact with voters. Just 1 week after providing in-person classes, Cobb County schools are seeing cases of COVID-19. There have been several cases reported from 9 elementary schools in Marietta, Ackworth, Austell, and Smyrna. The dean of Emory University's School of Public Health, Dr. James Curran, says when it comes to coronavirus, we need all of the tools we can get.
A mask itself is not going to be enough. A vaccine is not going to be enough. Social distancing is not going to be enough. Staying outdoors rather than indoors for gatherings is not going to be enough. But when you add all of these together, you have a powerful protection. And a mask is an important part of that powerful protection. Much of the protection comes from people who have mild or minimum symptoms who are wearing the mask, who don't cough and breathe on others. You're wearing a mask as a patriotic duty to others. You're wearing a mask so other people don't become infected. That's as much the issue as whether you become infected from not wearing the mask. But it can protect you too, as can social distancing.
Atlanta City Council members Antonio Brown and Andre Dickens take part in the Urban League of Greater Atlanta's Youth Voting Summit webinar. The event was held with the goal of empowering young voters to cast their ballots and get involved in politics.
That's going to do it for this episode of Stay at Home Connect. We'll see you next time.
I was just blessed to be able to be on the wall, not knowing that I was going to be here until a couple of days ago, and somebody sent me a photograph. But I mean, I knew Hattie Watkins, who is the mother of Willie Watkins, and who helped to get the funeral home here in West End. So most of the people on the wall are people that I know, people that I've worked with. So these are people that have been committed to the West End and Westview communities. But even with that, they've been committed overall to the city of Atlanta in terms of making this city better. And I don't know of any other place, now that I'm going through my mind, where there are women that are being honored. So this is truly something great here in this city.
I'm Phyllis Jackson. Welcome to Stay at Home Connect.
COVID-19 cases up now in 31 states. The COVID tracking project showing that the test positivity rates are up in 25 states. Georgia, among over a dozen states, holding steady. Doctors say there's growing evidence that COVID-19 could cause sudden hearing loss. A study published in the International Journal of Audiology reports that of the 138 COVID-19 patients reviewed, 13% reported a change in their hearing. Doctors believe the virus is known to cause blood clots in other areas of the body and think this could be happening in the very small blood vessels found in the inner ear. Other challenges included tinnitus, or ringing of the ears. The CDC now acknowledging that coronavirus is spread through viral particles in the air. The agency's website previously stated that the virus was mainly thought to be transmitted between people within 6 feet apart from each other and through respiratory droplets when an infected person talks, sneezes, or coughs. The updated version says it's commonly spread between people in close contact and spread through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs, sneezes, sings, talks, or breathes. It also says infection can occur if those particles are inhaled into the nose, mouth, airways, and lungs. Local hospitals are gearing up for what could be a rough winter of COVID-19 and the flu. I recently spoke with WellStar infectious disease specialist Dr. Danny Brandstetter.
Tell me what WellStar is doing right now to prepare for, this onslaught of a potential twindemic. How are you guys preparing the public and preparing for what could be an increase in hospitalizations?
Yeah, great question. So much like our start in December of 2019, when we knew the coronavirus was happening over in China and Asia, we prepared. So we were thinking about what's possible this fall and making sure that we have necessary equipment, necessary supplies, training our personnel what to look for, and doing screening methods, asking the right questions. And then thinking about how do we expand our capabilities if needed. So it's all in preparation. Have a great emergency preparedness team in WellStar. So it's been really good to see them in action, and kudos to them for all the work they've done. The second thing is we're preparing the community. So talking to people like you, Phyllis, who's getting the word out to help the community prepared for what they need to do to stay safe. And then we're making sure that people understand the importance of staying healthy. Going to your doctor, making sure your chronic diseases are managed well, your diabetes, your COPD, your heart failure. And then vaccinations, right? We know that they're helpful in influenza. So we are encouraging everyone to speak to their care provider about, do they need it, and is it safe for them to get it? And if it is safe, then I would encourage everyone to get a flu vaccine. It's only going to be helpful in not only reducing the spread of influenza, but also just keeping you as healthy as possible. So if you happen to have any other complications this winter, it reduces the risk of you having a further added double, as you call, twindemics.
Atlanta City Council member CLETA Winslow honored as part of an Unsung Heroines mural. The event, held near the Goodwill thrift store on Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, was part of this year's Elevate Art Festival. Councilmember Winslow says she's honored to be acknowledged.
These are people that have been committed to the West End and Westview communities, but even with that, they've been committed overall to the city of Atlanta in terms of making this city better.
That's a wrap. We'll see you on the next edition of Stay at Home Connect.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Felicia Moore, President of the Atlanta City Council. Welcome to the October 19, 2020 meeting of the Atlanta City Council. Before we get started, I would ask everyone to please mute your phones. Please mute your phones. We're getting feedback. Thank you. So I'll start over. Good afternoon. This is Felicia Moore, your Atlanta City Council President, welcoming you to the October 19, 2020 Atlanta City Council meeting. Mr. Clerk, can we have the roll call, please?
President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members, Post 1 at large, Michael Julian Bond. Post 2 at large, Matt Westmoreland. Here. Post 3 at large, Andrea Dickens. Here. Council District 1, Carla Smith.
Here.
Council District 2, Amir Faroki. Here. Council District 3, Antonio Brown. Here. Council District 4, CLETA Winslow.
Present.
Council District 5, Natalie Mosley Archibald.
Here.
Council District 6, Jennifer N. Ives. Council District 7, Howard Shook. Aye. Council District 8, J.P. Maxikite. Here. Council District 9, Dustin Hillett. Council District 10, Andrea L. Boone.
Present.
Council District 11, MARCI Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Council District 12, JOYCE M. Shepard. Quorum present.
Thank you. Any other members join the line since we started the roll call?
Councilman Bond is here.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. Anyone else? Okay. We will now go to the adoption of the agenda. The agenda will be as follows. We will go with the invocation, pledge of allegiance, proclamation, remarks by the public, report of the general communication, consideration of vetoed legislation, unfinished business, our consent agenda, and the report of the standing committees will be as follows. We will start off with the Committee of the Whole for Zoning Committee. We have 2 minutes and 19 seconds of public comment, followed by the Committee on Council with 2 minutes and 19 minutes of public comment. We will then adopt those actions in growth and follow the agenda as printed for the following, outstanding standing committees, which will be Public Safety, Legal Administration, Transportation, Finance Executive, to the Utilities, and the CDHS Committee. Following all of the standing committee reports, we will then go into an executive session for an update from our law department on pending legal matters. We will then go to our personal papers for immediate consideration, personal papers to be referred, general remarks, and the adjourning roll call. I'll entertain a motion on the adoption of the agenda as stated.
So moved to Westmoreland.
Is there a second?
Second, Fergie.
Second by Fergie, motion by Westmoreland. Again, I love to take this by the machine so I can see who was all on the system. So, Mr. Clerk, can we open the vote on the adoption of the agenda?
Please hold.
Okay, and I see some people aren't able to log in. I will call you in after we get through those on the machine.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Yay.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Yay.
Mr. Ferocki?
Yay.
Ms. Winslow? Yes. Mr. Masticite?
Yes.
Mr. Hillett? Mr. Hillett? Ms. Boone? Yes. All right, all votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Populating vote. 13 yeas, 0 nays.
13 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda is adopted as stated. Thank you, members. And in the intervening time, particularly when we get to the public comment, please, Mr. Clerk marked Ms. Hyde as present. She's on the system now. Would you please work to get more of you on the system? Otherwise, we will slow down the meeting considerably. So many of you, as you can, please log into the system. So my opening remarks for today is, first of all, thanking everybody for attending and those on the public for viewing or listening to the meeting. I'd like to extend, first of all, a happy birthday to Councilmember Joyce Shepard. Happy birthday, Ms. Shepard. And I'd like to encourage everyone to stay diligent on your COVID-19 guidelines and precautions. It's very important. It is, the numbers are increasing across the country, and we certainly want to make sure we all stay safe here in Atlanta and beyond. I want to thank you all for your patience and commitment to voting. I know that a lot of people are in long lines. Early voting continues through October 30th. And I ask people to please plan accordingly and let your vote count. For those of you who got absentee ballots, understand that you can mail them in, but if you want to make sure they get in, there are drop-box locations around that you can put them in the box and be sure that they get to election officials. So during today's meeting, we'll go into Committee of the Whole for the Zoning Committee and Committee on Council, as stated earlier. And we'll also have an, an executive session that will take place today after the completion of the Standing Committee report. Now to the moment of silence. As many of you know, that we have lost a phenomenal spiritual leader, Reverend Dr. Barbara Lewis King. She passed away on Sunday, October 11th at the age of 90. She was a bishop at the International New Thought Christian Movement of Churches and founder of the Hillside International Truth Center in Atlanta. She was not only my pastor, but she was a friend, and she touched so many, and she will be missed dearly. Are there any council members wanting to speak on Dr. Barbara King or add anyone else to our moment of silence? Please indicate with your speaker button. Okay. Seeing none, is there anyone who is not on the system? Hearing none, let's go into our moment of silence. Now we will go to our invocation. We were fortunate enough to have Reverend Dr. Barbara King provide the invocation at our April 20th council meeting, which happened to have been my birthday. So in memory and honor of Dr. Barbara King, our invitation today will be the replay of her prayer from our April 20th meeting. Thank you.
Before I give this prayer, I want to offer my thanks to the entire City Council for honoring me by naming the Faith Chapel in my honor. I am just so grateful. I'm still overwhelmed, but very thankful to God that my work to serve humanity continues even at this wonderful age as I approach the wonderful years of 90. So God is good all the time, and I bless all of you today. And as I offer this prayer, it's an interfaith prayer because our ministry has always served all people. We believe in the teaching of Jesus the Christ, but we believe that there are many paths to God. So let us begin this prayer by giving thanks to God, our Creator, Creator of all life, Creator of everything that lives. The life of God flows even through each one of us because we are that life and God is life. And we give thanks today for the city of Atlanta, for its mayor, for her staff, for all the people that work with her, and for FELICIA Moore. And I wanted to call all the names, God, but I couldn't pronounce them, so I had to depend on saying all of you, all the councilors, those at large. We're in prayer with you today because you are there making decisions that affect all of us. It is our prayer that you will know that prayer means using the wisdom of God that is within you. And it is that wisdom that you go to and ask for direction, ask for guidance. And that's what keeps us whole. That's what keeps us in alignment with who we are. And right now, as we give this prayer, let's bless all of the people. They call them the frontliners, the first responders, but there's so many people who are working to keep us safe. They are risking their lives to keep our lives safe. So we could name thousands of leaders, thousands of doctors, nurses, workers in the streets, even the garbage collectors, the postmen, all of these people who are out there serving us so that we can continue, you can continue to be the counsel that you are. We give thanks for the world. It's a very critical time, we know that, but there is a God in each one of us that lets us know if we have faith to believe that there's an answer to our prayers, then our prayers will be answered. And that is my prayer today. Not only will we give thanks for where we are and who we are, but give thanks that we have the power within us to create whatever needs to be done because God in us is the answer. For this day, for those who are listening, members of the community, the world, everything that we can say thankful for, we give him thanks. We've already acknowledged those who've gone to the other side. And Scripture tells us to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So spirit lives on. And so this day, as you have gathered to have your meetings, it is our prayer that everything you do will be done in the light and the wisdom of the God present within you. Continue to be who you are. Continue to know that you too can touch this life, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're any community. All of us know that there's only one God, one life, one love. And for that we give thanks. And so as we close this prayer, we say to you, the light of God is always surrounding you. The love of God is always enfolding you. The power of God is always protecting you. The presence of God is watching over you right now, right where you are. And all is well. So we pray this prayer in the name of every spiritual community there is, and mine is in the name and nature of Jesus the Christ. But we know that all of us are one in the Spirit. And the world will come to that understanding that we must come together, be at one and be at peace. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you. We're on a little bit of delay, but namaskar to Dr. Barbara King. Her words on April 20th were just as relevant today, and so we will all miss her. And thank you. So now we will go to our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice, and for all. Thank you. Now we will go to our special recognition, our proclamation that at this time I will call on Councilmember Michael Julian Bond for a special recognition in honor of the 60th anniversary of the Atlanta Student Movement.
Thank you, Madam
Hello
President.
and good evening. It is
We
great
have
to
a
be here with
video
you, and it
clip
is really
of
an
the
honor,
proclamation
privilege, and
presentation,
pleasure
but just
for me to be here.
for the edification of our audience and the rest of the members, today, October the 19th, is the 60th anniversary of the arrest of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with the students from the Atlanta Student Movement. The Atlanta Student Movement began in March of 1960. They quickly formed what was called the Committee on Appeal for Human Rights. They printed a manifesto in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution about why they were demonstrating, what their movement was about, and it quickly was published all around the world, from the New York Times, the Harvard Crimson, etc. And so why this date is particularly important is that when Dr. King returned from living in Alabama and obviously leading civil rights demonstrations there, when he returned to Atlanta, he was asked by the African-American political leadership not to bring his movement activities to the city. And even his father, Daddy King, along with other prominents like William Holmes Borders and other black political leaders, signed that letter. And so he acquiesced and did not participate in any movements here. So that happened to coincide with the timing of the Atlanta Student Movement. So he was a constant advisor to the students. He had never physically demonstrated or participated with them until October 19th, 1960. He did participate with them in a demonstration against what was then known as everyone's favorite department store, Rich's Department Store, the largest retail store in the southeastern United States, down on Fulton Street, and he was arrested. When he was arrested, he was taken to the old Decatur Street Jail and then transferred to Reedsville State's Prison in the back of a paddy wagon with a fearsome police dog that nipped at him for the entire trip, to Reedsville, several hours away. When he was arrested, no one would, from the law enforcement standpoint, would tell the King family where he was, what his disposition was. And so Mrs. King appealed to, and Daddy King appealed to the Nixon campaign, because all African Americans at that time, majority, was what was known as Lincoln Republicans. They had been loyal to the Republican Party since the days of Lincoln. And the Nixon campaign, fearing alienating Southern voters, they sent, condolences and sympathies to Mrs. King, but did not get involved. They then turned to the Kennedy campaign. And of course, most of the South were Democrats, or what used to be known as Dixiecrats. And so they were able to, through Robert Kennedy, find Dr. King and get him returned to Atlanta and released from prison. This caused a shifting in the political landscape, not only in Atlanta, but in the country, one that that we still are living and dealing with today, the shift from African Americans wholeheartedly into the Democratic Party, particularly Daddy King, who reversed his endorsement of Richard Nixon to John F. Kennedy. And so this was put into a pamphlet that was distributed to communities of color all across the country, but primarily in the South, a blue flyer that was euphemistically known as the Blue Bomb, which resulted in that shift resulted in the election, most experts believe, in Kennedy over Nixon, having those voters shifted. And so it's just one of the stories of how impactful the Atlanta student movement was, not only creating our mythos and legend here, Atlanta being the city too busy to hate, but this is a movement that was emulated around the country and around the world in nonviolent civic protest. So we have a clip of the proclamation presentation, and I'll yield for that.
Yes, and before we play that, just so the members will know, because of the delay, so that I will know when to continue, you will not hear it on the phone bridge. You need to look at it through the city channel or Facebook or another way to see it. But the public will hear it, but we will not hear it. Thank you. You may play it.
Hello and good evening. It is great to be here with you, and it is really an honor, privilege, and pleasure for me to be here today to present a proclamation to those who started a movement that not only changed Atlanta, but ultimately the world. What I have here today is a proclamation from the Atlanta City Council. And the proclamation reads in pertinent part a story about the students from the Atlanta University Center that gathered at the old Yates and Milton drugstore one afternoon in early March of 1960s. Those students were Lonnie King, Joseph Pierce, and Julian Bond. But they were amongst many others who often used Yates and Milton as a gathering spot on the campuses of the Atlanta University Center. One of the things that they were talking about, and they often had spirited conversations between classes, was the Greensboro movement, in which where 4 students sat down at lunch counters and began a sit-in movement. One student, Lonnie King, said to another, Julian Bond, in the presence of Joseph Pierce, and he asked, should this movement, or this type of movement, happen in Atlanta? And Julian Bond said, sure, it'll eventually happen here. But then Lonnie King said, don't you think we need to make it happen here? And Julian Bond responded, sure. And then he said, before he could answer, Lonnie gave them the direction to Joseph Pierce and Julian Bond. You take one half of Yates and Milton, I'll take the others, and then let's begin to organize. And so they did that. They organized the students that were present. They began to have meetings around the Atlanta University Center. And ultimately, they met with the leadership of the colleges who were not terribly excited about what they were proposing. But Dr. Clement, who was the de facto head of the Atlanta University Center as president of what was then Atlanta University, gave them the inspiration, or some might say direction, to write a manifesto about what they were about to do. Those students gathered and they became the Committee on Appeal for Human Rights. They drafted a document largely written by one of the panelists of tonight's program, Dr. Rosalind Pope, and they laid down the concerns of not only themselves as students and African Americans in Atlanta, but of the greater African American community in the city. That document was published in March of 1960, that in the Atlanta Journal and Constitution. It also was published in the New York Times, in the Harvard Crimson, and ultimately was published in papers across the United States and the world, and now resides in the Library of Congress. That became a seminal document for which their movement, the constitution of their movement. They began activities around the city of Atlanta, sitting in here at Atlanta City Hall and in lunch counters and other public buildings all across Atlanta. Ultimately, the movement, as you heard tonight in great detail, hinged on a pivotal event that happened in October 19th of 1960. It was the first time that Dr. Martin Luther King became involved directly as a participant in the Atlanta student movement. This was his first public activity marching with the students after several of the committee went to him and beseeched him to become involved. Why this is important is that Dr. King had pledged to the political leadership in the Black community at the time that he would not lead any major movements since returning to live in Atlanta after leaving Alabama. He was actually sent a letter by the Black political leadership asking him to do so, and he wanted to keep his word. But the movement was gaining momentum. They were picketing at what was called Atlanta's favorite store, Rich's Department Store, which is the leading department store in the southeastern United States. just imagine Macy's in New York by comparison, but covering that type of influence over the southeastern region of the United States. Dr. King joined that movement and was subsequently arrested. He was taken to the DeKalb County Jail, where he was sentenced in the court and was going to go to Reedsville Prison. But he had disappeared from record. His wife could not find him. No one could locate him or tell them where he was or what his disposition was, though many of the students who were arrested were released. So that began a call to the political candidates running for president at the time, principally Richard Nixon, who was a Republican. And what most people forget is that most African Americans at that time were what were called Lincoln Republicans. They were loyal to the Republican Party, voting heavily for Republicans with the exception of FDR. And so Nixon was first given the chance to intervene and try to help find out what had happened to Dr. King. His campaign sent their condolences to Mrs. King and their well wishes, but did not get involved. And so they turned to the Kennedy campaign, the Democrats. Most of the South was Democratic. They used to be called Dixiecrats. And that give you some kind of indication of their mindset. So the Kennedy campaign got involved, found out where Dr. King was, and tried to make his release happen. This swayed the political fortunes and opinions in Atlanta. And so all over the Southeast, Daddy King, who had been a Republican, who at one time didn't know if he could vote for a Catholic, he stated that from the pulpit, changed his mind and endorsed Kennedy. And so that endorsement went throughout the southeastern United States in a blue flyer, which was euphemistically called the Blue Bomb. And that blue bomb changed the direction of the presidential election in 1960 and threw it in Kennedy's favor. So the Atlanta student movement, not only did it desegregate Atlanta, not only did it seed the mythology of the city of Atlanta and its great phrase, the city too busy to hate, and made it live up to that pledge, it changed and showed the world how nonviolent citizen action can change the world. And so with that, for those of you who are on the call that are members of the Atlanta student movement, a grateful city designates October the 19th, 2020 as Atlanta Student Movement and Appeal for Human Rights Day in our fair city. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and have caused the seal of the city of Atlanta to be hereunto affixed. Congratulations, our noble progenitors in the freedom movement. It is through you that all of our freedoms rest. God bless you and thank you.
All right, the proclamation has ended, and we will now move on with our meeting.
Madam President, just one.
Yes, sir.
That's related. Thank you for allowing the presentations. And if tonight at 7 p.m. Via on Facebook, there will be a discussion with three of the original members of the student movement, Mr. Charles Black, Dr. Georgianne Thomas, and Dr. Ross, who was the principal author of the Appeal for Human Rights. You can go to that.
You're breaking up, Mr. Bond.
Okay, I'll start over. www.facebook.com/ATL Student Movement Initiative to participate in that forum. That's tonight at 7.
Thank you. Mr. Hillis?
Yes, just wanted to say that I'm now on the call. I was not being let in when I called in at the beginning of the meeting, but I called back in and obviously in now, so I just wanted to let my presence be known. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, please indicate that Mr. Hillis is present.
Duly noted.
Any other members that have missed the roll calls that we did not acknowledge? We have Ms. I from earlier. So now we will move on in our meeting to the to the remarks by the public. We have 40 minutes and 21 seconds of remarks by the public. Mr. Clerk.
The public may leave a comment of their concerns the day before the scheduled meeting between the hours of 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. by dialing 404-330-6001. Public comments for the full council agenda shall not exceed 2 minutes. In addition, the Standing Committee for Zoning and Committee on Council will enter into the Committee of the Whole, and the public may express their concerns for the individual committee by dialing the designated number. Committee on Council, 404-330-6069, and Zoning, 404-330-6035. Messages for the committee meeting shall not exceed 3 minutes. No public comments are allowed on legislative items that have gone before or will go before the ZRB. Mr. Massenberg.
Hi, my name is Gina Livingston, and I'm calling once again to ask the City Council bring forth legislation to put Agape Tennis Academy in charge of the management of the Atlanta Tennis Centers. Tennis community desperately needs the Atlanta Centers to open in its full capacity. Tennis is perhaps the only and safest sport to play during this pandemic. And yesterday I was at both the cab and then at Botanic Gardens in Piedmont Park. The cab was totally booked, court full of people playing tennis and pickleball, and Piedmont Park was totally empty. There were no people playing. Not only is that a lost revenue for the city of Atlanta, but it's a real loss for the tennis players in the city who need those courts, getting increasingly difficult to get a court to play on at the cab because of the success of all of their programming and the number of people playing there. It would be really wonderful for the city of Atlanta to benefit from that type of community engagement and success that they have at all of the City of Atlanta tennis centers. So thank you so much for listening to the public feedback, and we look forward to seeing this legislation pass. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Calling in reference to the City of Atlanta Park, Bitsy Grant, Piedmont Park, Chastain. We are ready to get back to work. Please allow the city to be ran by Agape and then so we can get this ball game rolling. We are unemployed as instructors, and the City of Atlanta is ready for us to get back to teaching at Bitsy Grant. Please allow this to happen, and let's get started. We're unemployed at this point. Some 20-25 coaches. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Hello, this is Allison. I believe that I probably wasn't as solution-oriented in my previous message as I would like to have been. I think that a good starting point would be to put up signage that states that there is no racing, street, donuts, and also a noise ordinance, and to actually enforce those and to ticket vehicles and so forth as a deterrent to the lawless and dangerous and endangering behavior. Furthermore, I think that it would be prudent to open the courts up and to open Fulton County and so forth. I mean, I think it's a weird juxtaposition that you can go to a nightclub and maybe even get a lap dance at a gentleman's club, but the courts aren't open, and so therefore much of the lawlessness, I would surmise, is not able to be fully enforced. I don't think that people need to be going to jail over the aforementioned lawlessness, but certainly ticketed. And potentially some of the money that is the city gains from these tickets could be put into youth programs and to help the community. But right now, there's really nobody is being helped. Everybody is being hurt by the activities that are going on. Thank you.
Hi, this is Dr. Cynthia Jorgensen. I'm a longtime City of Atlanta resident, an avid tennis player and a USTA and ALTA captain. I really need the courts of Atlanta to be fully functional with qualified coaching, drills, lessons, and youth development. I hope that you can resolve the management of the city tennis court soon. I'm very impressed with what Agape has done. They have proved themselves over and over again. Thank you for your consideration.
Good afternoon. This is Angela Smith, calling regarding the state of management at the Sharon Lester Tennis Center at Piedmont Park. I've called several times, and I'm just looking to get an update on the status. I believe Agape has the proper structure and programming in place that would really make the entire Atlanta tennis community happy, especially at Piedmont. So this is a question specifically to the status of that management contract to Agape, if possible. If you could give me an update, I'd appreciate it. I've made calls several times, so hopefully I can get a response. Again, my name is Angela Smith. My email is ars247@att.net. Thank you.
Hello, this is Rob Myers, and I wanted to leave a comment on Z1976. As someone who has had a .45 caliber bullet come into his daughter's bedroom as a result of a violence related to an Airbnb party house, I would respectfully ask all council members to please pass Z1976. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Victoria Cunningham, and I've lived in Atlanta or the Atlanta area for the last 30 plus years and have been playing tennis in Atlanta for 15 plus years and have enjoyed the courts and enjoyed the opportunities, but really started enjoying tennis 10 times more when I started with Agape Tennis over at DeKalb Tennis Center. I used to play on a team. I play ALTA, I play USTA, I play T2, and I used to play on a team out of Piedmont. And now it's so sad because the teams have had to dismantle. They have nowhere to play. There's no coaching available. And the best thing that could ever happen to the city courts is for Agape to take over. They're professional. They have fabulous coaches. They are exponentially run. They are well known. They are well capable. They are they're just great people, and they're the programs that they have, not only for the juniors but for the adults, they're A+. I mean, honestly, and I don't understand why the city hasn't already put them in charge of running the city courts. None of my friends can play tennis in the city of Atlanta because the courts aren't available. They're not open at night. They have no one running them. They're starting to get run down. People are nervous about it. They have nowhere to go, and it's a shame. So the best thing that the city of Atlanta can do for its community, for the people that live there, is to let Agape be in charge of those courts. And I thank you, and I hope you guys make the right choice.
Hello, my name is Robin Morgan, and I am calling in regards to street safety. In addition to the ongoing street racers that everyone knows is a problem, our neighborhood traffic has really gotten out of control. I have called APD and my city council person for years regarding illegal trucks on Moore's Mill. Not only is illegal traffic a concern for our neighborhood, but speeding is now also a major issue. Just this weekend, a friend of mine's 13-year-old son was hit by a vehicle while walking on Howell Mill and West Wesley. The car did not stop, and I do believe that there was a police officer called to the scene. It is absolutely ridiculous that our neighborhoods have to request and pass some type of traffic study in order to receive traffic calming devices. A lot of cases, these traffic calming devices are not even ordered to the streets due to the type of restriction or registration the street carries. I implore you guys to listen to the neighborhoods and what is the best option versus a study of traffic, and protect these residents before more children are actually hurt. Again, my name is Robin Morgan. Thank you for listening.
My name is Regina Ovenden. Last name is spelled O-V as in Victor, E-N-D-E-N. I am calling first regarding where the funds that were supposed to be allocated to the trees that were misappropriated. Secondly is the rampant crime, including water boys, ATVs, dirt bikes, street racing, including laying of drag, and speeding, and all of the above getting police escorts. Shootings, murders, armed robberies, house break-ins, slider crimes, stolen dogs, stolen cars, looting. What is being done about this? Why aren't laws being upheld? Also, why are clubs open? And people allowed to have huge private parties at clubs and other places when our courts and schools that our taxes pay for are not open? Again, why are laws not being upheld? But most importantly, I would like to know the following. How many days has our mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, been in Atlanta during her term in office? Are our city funds paying for her out-of-town trips? Are city funds paying for her family for these out-of-town trips? Are city funds paying for any or all of Mayor Bottom's self-promoting interviews and appearances, including hair, makeup, wardrobe, transportation, phone, internet, etc., in her home? Is Mayor Bottom's Atlanta security detail traveling with her to places like Martha's Vineyard? Where and when may I get copies of Mayor Bottom's and others' expense reports? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Ozer. I reside in the city limits of Atlanta, and I'm calling to ask you to find solutions to the endless street racing, light running, all hours activity that continues in our city. I understand that it is a national phenomenon, but please be the leader in addressing this issue. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Brian Lancer, and I'm a resident of the Piedmont Park area. And I just want to let you guys know that the city parks and rec officials they're not doing a great job out here. And there's just no organization. I went over and looked for some drills, and just to say the least, I didn't find anything that fit that fit me. It was pretty much just no programming, nothing. Just jump on a court, hop on, and then see, and then enjoy tennis. Like before, there was an academy, Universal Tennis Academy, and at least they had some programming, but we just need a Dake Tennis Academy because that's the only thing that really can make a difference. Like, I went over to the Cat Tennis Center about, I don't even know, 2 weeks ago, and they had doubles programming, they had adult programming, all that, and that's what I'm looking for. And if we can get that over in Piedmont Park and all the other centers, I hope, because I heard that there's no programming in any of the centers, then that would be really good. And I'm sure all the other people and friends that I know would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Hi, this is Cheryl Rosenbaum, and I'm the president of the City of Atlanta. And I'm just calling about the City of Atlanta tennis courts. I know that currently they're under city management, and I'm just calling requesting you to get a management company in there so we can get our teams back playing and our kids back playing, get our coaches back to work. I don't think having the city run it is the most effective use of our taxpayer dollars, and we'd really, really, really love to get back to the play that we're used to, or get back to having teams and coaches and kids playing. There's so much opportunity for revenue that the city could be taking a part in. I know that Agape Tennis Academy has won the contract twice, and it would be great if we could please get them back or get them to the courts to run it and let the city employees go back and do whatever it is they do best. We would appreciate that. We are so excited about getting our teams back to play, and we can't do that with the city running the courts. We can only do that if a management company does that. We actually would also love to even just get simply back to doubles play, which we can't do with the city running. We can only do with a management company. The management companies have the most effective and automated scheduling software, and it's just such a waste of time and waste of money to have the city run the courts. Please get Agape Tennis Academy, who won this contract, back running the courts in the city of Atlanta, so we can all get on to other things like street racing. Thanks so much. Appreciate your service. Bye-bye.
Yes, this is Ron Howard calling for a Gap Tennis Center, and we're calling you on behalf of having the city of Atlanta not run private tennis centers. They have a great program of teaching people how to play tennis. They have great, leagues that are organized, and it's a well-kept private tennis center, and we don't want any tennis center to be run by any city, not just the city of Atlanta. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Leighton Galvez. I'm just here to say that Agape would be much better at managing the city center than just the city workers. And I hope that Agape this.
Yes, this is Dr. Professor Clifton C. Craves, 1290 Oxford Road, Northeast in Druid Hills. And I really hope that you will renew the agreement with Agape Tennis to manage the municipal tennis facilities. I think this is a much better solution than having city workers do it. Thank you.
Honoring Jordan, giving out the Spirit of Christ. Woe unto them that cause evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Isaiah 5th chapter 20th verse. Thus the people of Judah are condemned for rating their sin before God. God's plan blesses better than your fleshly plan. Neither let us commit fornication as some of them committed, and fell in one day 320,000, 1 Corinthians 10th chapter 8 verse. And Numbers 25th chapter 9 verse, the total of people who died is given as 24,000. St. Montgomery, Jesus still killed for committing fornication. Christ says the associate with James is to go toward a deaf spirit and make things of the world and things which are despised has God chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are. 1 Corinthians 1st chapter 28 verse. God has chosen the selection by God is designed to silence the wisdom of man. This is the reason Jesus chose me and the others calling on Jesus to use for his glory. But neither he nor his servants nor the people of the land did hearken unto the words of the Lord, which he spake by the prophet Jeremiah. Jeremiah 37, chapter 7 verse. To ignore a warning from a prophet who is delivering God's message, not his own message, is an action to provoke his wrath, God's wrath. God has payback for those that sin against him. You want to conquer sin in us, not to sin against God.
Hi, my name is Mark Rosenbaum. I'm the City of Atlanta President, and I'd like to encourage the City Council to reconsider the tennis management contract and allow tennis with coaching, preferably through Agape, who's more than qualified to manage the tennis centers and allow the tennis community to continue playing. I think the city is doing a disservice to a significant portion of the community by keeping the tennis centers simply managed by the city without access to coaching. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Myers, and I wanted to call and express my support for the passing of the party house ordinance that is up for a vote. I have been directly affected by Airbnb party houses, multiple houses in my neighborhood, one of which has had several large parties that one ended in gunfire with a bullet going through my 3-year-old's bedroom. Another party house 2 streets away from me, I woke up in the middle of the night to gunfire at 1 a.m. So these houses are directly impacting the safety of my small family, and I love my neighborhood. I would like it to stay a neighborhood full of people who want to live here and not transient people coming in and out who, aren't furthering the safety of the neighborhood or the safety of anyone in Atlanta, for that matter. All right, thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Tom Becker. I live in Atlanta. I'm in JP's district. Just learned on Friday that a child was hit in a hit-and-run accident at the corner of West Wesley and Howell Mill Road. Fortunately, the child was not seriously injured. However, the driver did do a hit-and-run. I left JP several emails asking him to work with me to try to do something about the traffic calming and the traffic safety that's desperately needed here. And really, I haven't even gotten a response yet from JP. So at this point, I'm even wondering if JP's even interested, if he's even concerned about traffic safety. But I want to bring it to your attention and let you know that traffic safety and traffic calming is desperately needed around here. We live on Moores Mill Road. It's a miracle we haven't been hit yet. And what has happened to the child is only going to get worse. So I implore the City Council to please, please do something about traffic safety and enforce aggressive traffic calming. Thank you.
Hi, this is Catherine Hansen calling. And again, I wanted to call and voice my concern regarding what is going on with the tennis community. I am, as I've mentioned in the past, an active tennis player. I captain quite a few teams, and we like to get out and we like to practice. And I am continually trying to find out, in this state of confusion here, how to get courts. It seems no one knows who's doing what. And in all due respect to the Parks and Recreation, I am sure they're probably trying to do a good job with this, but there does seem to be a complete state of disorganization. I am hoping that you all can make a decision relatively quickly. Fall is a big season for tennis. There's a lot of interest in pickleball, and the weather is just unbelievably gorgeous. And to be in a state of flux regarding a team, tennis, and building of the communities, it really is, it's quite disappointing, quite frankly. Not sure why this is taking long to get the proper management committee in place to get everything back in order. But I urge you all to make a decision. hopefully move on with Agape, who has proven time and time again the phenomenal job that they're doing at DeKalb. The events that they ran over this weekend were unbelievably attended, and it brings the community together, and we need that throughout all of Atlanta. So I am asking all of you to give this careful consideration, but to move quickly. Again, this is Catherine Hansen, and I am always available for any questions or additional comments. My phone number is 404-431-5359. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Calvin Kemp. I'm calling in regards to Agape Tennis Center, Agape managing the tennis center. I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up playing tennis at all the City of Atlanta facilities, specifically Washington Park. Okay? But unfortunately, at that time, the City of Atlanta was managing the facilities. And because the programs were not up to par, I had to leave the city facilities and drive all the way to the suburbs to continue my tennis career. After doing all of that, I've now reached and obtained over 10 certifications ranging from sports psychology to sports science. I ran my own tennis academy, and I would like to make sure it's known that I was more than happy to help Agape manage the tennis centers. I think it's also very important to understand that the local government, with the city managing the facilities, is not in the best interest of the public, because there are a lot of unique factors of managing a tennis business that the local government can't really adjust their business model to, which is why they generally always use outside businesses to manage the facilities. I think it should continue this way, because I've heard that there might be city employees actually offering programs, which I don't think would be in the best interest of the city. So again, I'm calling in support of Agape Tennis managing the City of Atlanta facilities. Thank you.
My name is Justin Kendrick, and I'm an avid tennis player at the City of Atlanta. Around there, I go play also USTA, and I've been going to the centers around Atlanta, such as Piedmont and Chastain, and there's just no programming at all for someone like me who's looking to get some adult programming in, and just lessons or group classes or anything, some type of structure, and I feel like there's none of that there. Since the city's running it, and they're not the best at managing it. It's not the worst, but it's not as good as it can be, especially for the best city of tennis in the world, such as Atlanta. So I just wanted to quickly say that Agape Tennis Academy would be a really good fit for managing the tennis centers, because they know what they're doing, and they can definitely help people like me in their game and looking for what we want. Thank you.
Greetings, you council members and staff, and special greetings to you citizens of Atlanta paying attention to your government in action. And Howard, senior advocate, public policy analyst. With approximately 20,000 citizens and stakeholders within neighborhood planning unit R, the NPUR 9 has set the NPUR quorum at the ridiculously low 10. That way, when 20 of the 20,000 residents within NPUR attend meetings, the NPUR 9 will say they've done a great job, even though the 20 is only 1/10 of 1% of NPUR residents. At its meeting a week ago, Wednesday on October 7th, the NPUR 9 was able to muster 30 participants, so they could defeat a proposal for additional senior affordable housing by a vote of 26-3. When might the residents and stakeholders of neighborhood planning unit R expect some help in increasing citizen participation at that NPU, now currently being restricted by the NPUR 9, Anthony Robinson, Wallace Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Annette L. Scott, Alfred White, Allison Hathaway, Sherry Williams, and the NPUR 9 cohorts.
Hi, my name is Kathy Bomer. I am from Home Park. I'm the president of the Home Park Community Improvement Association. I'm calling on behalf of my neighborhood regarding the legislation on banning party houses in neighborhoods within Atlanta. I apologize, I don't have that that number for the legislation. I'm out of town, but it's for the party house legislation that's going to be coming before City Council. On behalf of the neighborhood, I'm requesting that you please pass this legislation, not just for party houses, but for any type of event, reception, commercial event, anything that would be going on in a private home within our residential neighborhoods, as that is not the proper use of a home in our residential neighborhoods for commercial purposes. And on behalf of our neighborhood, we are very much opposed to any type of use of the homes in our neighborhood for party houses, events, receptions, anything like that. And we can urge our city council members to please vote to ban party houses and therefore uphold that proposed legislation. If you have any questions for me, I can be reached at 404-625-5856. Thank you.
Good evening. This is Tori Martin, again, former UTM employee that was looking on, jumping on the Agape team when they potentially would take over the Atlanta facilities. I just wanted to give my outpouring support towards them and also stress that through this situation, throughout this entire process, that the kids are the ones that are being affected the most. I'm coaching a ton of kids currently out of neighborhood courts, and it's very tough because everyone is waiting for Agape to jump on and run these facilities where they would establish effective junior and adult programming.
Hi, I'm Raphael on addiction. Please help Agape. That is very important for the whole population of Atlanta. So I would sincerely hope that this will be resolved in a favor of Agape. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maureen Becker, and I am calling. I'm part of District 8. I'm calling because I'm very concerned with the crime in our neighborhoods and really the severity of the crime and the gunshots. I mean, this has been going on for a year now, and it seems like every weekend it's just doubling the number of gunshots that we're hearing, and even, the victims, the number of people that are dying. I follow a citizen app, and I'm so concerned with the safety of my family. I'm concerned with the safety of my kids. My daughter's at Georgia Tech. I don't want her to leave her place at night because I see all the crime around her area. And I'm really concerned about my son. I mean, he's 17. He's driving on these streets, and we know how many illegal street racers that we have up and down the street. Plus, just in general, just the disregard, the theft, people being held at gunpoint, going to the wrong gas station. This is out of control. I just don't know how this town is going to be turned around. We're looking at the city council. You need to help us. I mean, we are no longer wanting to live in this neighborhood. So I don't know what you can do, but I hope you can do something. I think the first would be to open the court. So thank you for taking my message, and we appreciate everything you're trying to do. We just need to really accelerate these plans and get this crime under control. Thanks.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Coach Trisha Mastering, and I am just calling because I am one of the coaches that is planning on coming on board with Agape. They have an awesome program and staff ready to serve the city of Atlanta, and I've been really looking forward to getting started with them and their programs and, running some of the city of Atlanta tennis centers. I understand hearing through the community and hearing through other players that I've coached what a
little bit of a disaster having the city run the courts has been trouble getting reservations and just being efficient in the process. And Agape, they have a team of coaches ready to go and get started and run tennis lessons and pickleball and everything like that. So again, this is Coach Trish, and just looking forward to coming on board with Agape and running some of the tennis. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, 678-793-2055. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Betty Hurt. I'm representing, as a citizen, Zone 2 and Zone 5, right around Buckhead Midtown. We, as citizens, are very, very concerned about safety and quality of life issues in the city. We believe that these are directly related to policies which limit any kind of consequences for certain types of crimes being committed in the city. Therefore, bringing other people from other counties and states to the city of Atlanta to do burnouts and drag race and shoot guns and shoot fireworks and shoot each other and shoot at our houses and speed down our neighborhood streets and flip over their cars and just total mayhem. Signature bonds to get out, no fine, no court, no judge. It is absolute mayhem in this city. I cannot imagine any movie or film crew ever wanting to film here again. The actors won't feel safe. There's going to be no quiet area or any kind of place for anyone to film anything because it's a constant burnouts and gunfire. You can't go to the mall to go shopping without potentially being robbed at the cash register or shot inside the mall or outside the mall. Cars being stolen out of driveways. The no chase policy is just a sweet spot for anybody wanting to come to the city to do drag racing because all they have to do is just drive away and they're gone. I feel like the police should be able to set up roadblocks and corral these people into them and arrest them and impound their cars. And something needs to be more permanent so that they aren't just picking their car up and signing out on a signature bond and back on the street the next day. The quality of life is terrible in the city. I repeat, the quality of life is terrible in the city of Atlanta. People are not just pearl clutchers, and they're, appalled by people who are beneath them or anything like that. People don't even leave their homes on the weekends. People don't leave their homes after dark because it's too dangerous in the city of Atlanta to move around your neighborhood. Just please do something about the general lawlessness and the high crime in the city. It is absolutely deplorable. Please. There will be a mass exodus of businesses, movie production.
Hello, my name is Allison. I am a long-term resident of the Buckhead area. I've lived here for about 23 years and have seen and grown alongside its many changes. A lot of the changes have been great and progressive, but I would say as of the last year or so, I've noticed the crime level skyrocket in a way that I never thought I would ever see in living here. Obviously, there's the street racing and the donuts in various intersections, which are extremely hazardous, and I believe that there was a recent fatality nearby weekend before last. And just the overall lawlessness. For the first time this year, really, I went out with my husband last night, and we needed to go to an ATM machine, and there were some alarming folks at the ATM machine, and obviously there's a lot of activity at Lenox Mall that's very concerning, shootouts and whatnot. It's just the wild, wild west. Like somebody opened up just a room full of characters, and they're all in some seemingly, from what I see, there's just overall lawlessness going on that I'm extremely concerned about. and far too little policing, far too little rules being enforced. Again, I've been here for a long time. There used to be cops pulling over cars by threes on Piedmont for minor traffic infractions, like maybe going 5 miles over the speed limit. Now you can go 90 down Piedmont and do a donut while you're at it. I've never seen it been in such a promising and city that allows so much utter lawlessness, and it's going to deter a lot of business folk from coming here, investors and things that the city really needs, like capital and so forth. I think it's a very detrimental move, and it's a detriment to every citizen in the city. I highly suggest that we see more law and order in Atlanta and specifically in Buckhead. Thank you.
Yes, my name is John, and I'm a resident of the city of Atlanta, and I just wanted to leave a concern on the voicemail. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard quite a bit about the street racing, and unfortunately, it just continues to be a problem. And I just hope that the entire city council is doing everything they can to work with all parties to bring it to some sort of resolution. It's just getting almost impossible to sleep at night, and very concerned about the safety, especially around the hospitals. So I just wanted to make sure that this was of utmost concern to this entire city council as well as the mayor. And, I'm just concerned that if nothing's addressed, that, it'll spiral out of control. Home values will go down, tax revenue will go down, and all this is very concerning. So please keep this in mind. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Lori Bennett, and I have written down here a list of things, and I'm just going to read it. And it is: rising crime and unlawfulness leads to uncertainty and fear of residents, leads to decisions to move out of Atlanta, leads to tax dollars leaving Atlanta and values of property plummeting, leads to much lower tax base, leads to who will pay the bills. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank all the members of the public who participated in our public comment. We will now continue with our agenda. We're on Section 8, Report of the Journal. Mr. Clerk.
I, Forrest Webb III, Municipal Clerk, do certify that the action minutes of the virtual council meeting on October 5th, 2020, and the special virtual council meeting on October 15th, 2020 are true and correct.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the report of the journal.
So moved,
Brown. Motion by Brown. Who's the second?
Matsakite.
Second by Matsakite. On unanimous consent of members present, the report of the journal is accepted and filed. Mr. Clerk, if we can move to communications.
Yes, Madam President. 20-C-0100, a communication from Madeline Mosby Archibald, District 5, Jennifer I, District 6, Howard Shook, District 7, J.P. Matsakite, District 8, and Matt Westmoreland, Post 2 at Large, appointing Dr. Tiffany Hill Storks to serve as a member of the Atlanta Reproductive Justice Commission. Staff recommendation to refer to Community Development, Human Services Committee, and Committee on Council.
Let it follow that course.
Madam President, if I could sound items 2 through 4 as a block.
Proceed.
20-C-0101, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, appointing Mr. David Coleman to serve as a member of the Judicial Commission for the City of Atlanta. This appointment is for a term of 4 years. 20-C-0102, a communication from Interim Chief Procurement Officer Martin Clark, submitting the September 28th, 2020 through October 2nd, 2020 weekly contract report. 20-C-0103, submitting the October 5th, 2020 through October 9th, 2020 weekly contract report to the Atlanta City Council and Clerk of Council pursuant to Section 2-1142 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances. Staff recommendation to accept and file.
Staff recommendation is to accept and file, and without objection on unanimous consent, we will accept and file both items. Next, we are at consideration of veto legislation.
There is none, Madam President.
Section K, unfinished business.
There is one item, 20-R-4311, an amended resolution by Community Development and Human Services Committee and the Atlanta City Council, a resolution by to transmit the capital improvement element, which includes capital improvements that the city intends to fund and hold fees to the Georgia Department of Community Affairs and the Atlanta Regional Commission in compliance with requirements of the Georgia Development Impact Fees and for other purposes. Public hearing was held on September 28, 2020. During the last council meeting held on October 5th, 2020, council members Westmoreland made a motion to table the resolution, and it was seconded by council member Archibald, and the motion carried by a roll call vote of 14 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, the item is before us. Ms. Archibald?
Okay, thank you. I was just unmuted. Yes, I was the one who wanted to have it held. The amendment that we have corrects the problem that I was troubled by, so this needs to be amended, but I guess the first step would be a motion to remove it from the table. I make that motion.
Second. Okay, I understand that it is automatically before us and it is already moved to be adopted, so we'll take the amendment.
Mr. Westmoreland, do you have the amendment handy?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Go ahead, you take off the thing.
Yes, Mr. Westmoreland.
Will update, Exhibit A as follows. It will remove the Council District 5 reference from both the SWAT expansion and the Police Joint Academy projects and replaced with the all category for the U.S. Highway 19 Spring Street pedestrian mobility. It'll change the estimated project end date from 7/27/2020 to 5/1/2023. For the Campbellton Road Fiber Corridor, it changes the estimated project end date from 11/29/2022 to 12/01/2024. And for the Midtown traffic signals, it changes the project end date from 12/01/2022 to 5/01/2022. And so I will make a motion to amend.
Is there a second?
Second, Hillis.
Second. Second by Hillis, motion by Westmoreland to amend. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing and seeing none, let's open the vote on the Westmoreland amendment.
The vote is now open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Ms. Boone?
Yes.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. The amendment is adopted. Now we're on the paper as amended. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Ms. Ide, how do you vote? Mr. Westmoreland, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote.
We're ready, Mr. Clerk.
14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Now we will move on with our agenda, and we will go now to the consent agenda. Any member who have items in consent agenda section 1 that they would like to have removed, please indicate with your speaker button or speak now if you are not on the system. Hearing and seeing none, we're ready to adopt consent agenda section 1, Mr. Clerk.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis? Mr. Dickens? All votes are cast. All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. Consent agenda section 1 is adopted. Consent agenda section 2 is comprised with items that will be referred for committee. They are on first read here and on unanimous consent. All of those items will be referred as indicated. Now we go to the report of the Standing Committee. I will entertain a motion to go into the Committee of the Whole for the purpose of hearing from the Zoning Committee and Committee on Council.
So moved. Smith.
Second, Matsakite.
Motion by Smith, second by Matsakite to enter into the Committee of the Whole. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's open the vote on entering the Committee of the Whole.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote.
Please mute your phone if you're not talking.
14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. We are in the Committee of the Whole. We will start with the Zoning Committee, the Honorable CARLA Smith, Chair.
Thank you. If everyone will please turn your agendas to page 30. While you're doing that, I will ask the clerk to play the public comments, please.
Greetings to you, Zoning Committee, council members, and staff. A special greetings to citizens of Atlanta, paying attention to our government in action. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. At the meeting of Neighborhood Planning Unit R, as of a week ago, Wednesday on October 7th, no minutes of the NPUR Land Use and Zoning Committee meeting were made available to the public. Ricardo Jacobs, who spoke out against additional affordable senior housing, made no comment about the missing minutes. Sherry Williams, who spoke out against additional affordable senior housing, made no comment about the missing minutes. Benito Scott, whose zoning committee initiated the vote against additional affordable senior housing, made no comment about missing minutes. NPUR zoning committee has been changed year after year by Lynette L. Scott. Under Lynette L. Scott, NPUR zoning committee provides no public notices of its meetings or minutes of its meetings. I urge you, council members, that if any recommendations come to you from Neighborhood Planning Unit R, you mandate that those recommendations be accompanied by the minutes of the NPUR meeting, attesting under oath that a valid vote of the membership was taken, and further attesting that all parties have been given fair opportunity to present their positions. I hasten to caution you again that should you choose to interfere with the modus operandi of the NPUR 9, you will be met with fierce resistance from the NPUR 9 movers and shakers, Antonita Robinson, Wallace Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Lynette L. Scott, Alfred White, Allison Hathaway, Sherry Williams, and the NPUR 9 cohorts.
Okay, item number 1, 20-0-1613, MRPA 20-04. The location is 2004 Whittier Avenue. This is to grant a certificate for a residential addition under the provisions of the Metropolitan River Protection Act. We do need to go ahead and open a public hearing, and so I will make that motion.
Motion to open the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second, MATSCAI.
Second by MATSCAI. If there's no objection or unanimous consent, the public hearing is open.
Thank you, Madam President. And there are no public comments, so we will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
is there a second? Second by MATSCAI. Any discussion on the motion? If not, on unanimous consent of members present, the public hearing is closed.
Good job. Thank you. So the motion on this paper is favorable.
Okay, the motion is favorable. It is to adopt. Any discussion? Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
I couldn't hear that. Second by who?
Westmoreland.
Second by Westmoreland. Motion by Smith to adopt. Let's open the vote if there's no discussion.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you cast your vote?
In favor.
All our votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. (14 yeas, 0 nays).
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
Items number 2 and 3 we will take together as a block, please.
Proceed.
20-0-1469, Z-20-41. The location is 689 Boulevard and 513 Ponce de Leon Avenue. The change is to rezone from MRC2C Beltline to MRC2C Beltline, a change of conditions. Item number 3, 20-0-1592, U-20-10. The location is 800 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard. This is a special use permit for a child care center, and the motion on these two is favorable as amended.
Motion is to adopt on those two items. Is there a second?
Second, MATSCAI.
Second by MATSCAI. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, let's open the vote on those two items to adopt.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor. In favor.
Thank you. All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays is adopted. Next item.
Item number 4, 19-0-1393Z-19-76. This is a text amendment. It amends the zoning ordinance for RLC, C1 to C5, I1, IMIX, I2, and MRC zoning districts to allow a party house as a use. The motion on this paper is favorable on substitute.
Motion is to adopt. Is there any discussion? Is there a second, first of all?
Second, Matsakite.
Second by Matsakite. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
19-0-1694Z-19-118. The location is the intersection of Beecher Road and Herring Road. The change is to rezone certain properties from R4 to R4B. The motion on this is favorable on substitute.
Is there a second?
Second, Westmoreland.
Second by Westmoreland. Motion by Smith to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
Items number 6 through 21 are first reads. I'd like to take these all as a block.
Proceed.
Thank you. It'll take just a few minutes here. Item number 6, 20-0-1637Z-20-52. The location is 21 Daniel Street. The change is from C2C Beltline to MR4A Beltline. Item number 7, 20-0-1638Z-20-53. The location is 11636 Sylvan Road. The change is to rezone from I1C Beltline to MRC1 Beltline. 20-0-1639Z-20-54. The location is 1046 and 1056 Burn Street. The change is to rezone from R4 Beltline to R4A Beltline. 20-0-1640 Z-20-55. The location is 1190, 1194, and 1200 McDonald Drive. The change is from R4A Beltline to RG4 Beltline. 20-0-1641 Z-20-59. The location is 910, 922, and 928 Lindbergh Drive. This is a change from R4 to R4A. 20-0-1642 Z-20-60. The location is 352 Irwin Street. The change is to rezone from R5 HC20C. The Subarea 5 to RG4 HC20C Subarea 5. 20-0-1643 Z-20-61. The locations are 927 Wiley Street, 74, 84, 88, 92, 95, 103, and 105 Flat Shoals Avenue, 930, 933, 934, 943, 946, 948, and 953 Kirkwood Avenue, 107, 111, 117, 121, 145, 151, and 157 Gibson Street, 147 Holtzclaw Avenue, and 941, 945, 949, and 951 Manigault Street. The change is to rezone from I-2 Beltline and R5 Beltline to PDMU Beltline. Number 13, 20-0-1644, Z-20-62. The location is 359, 375, 385, and 0 Whitehall Street. The change is to rezone from I-1 to SPI-1 Sub-Area 1. 20-0-1645, Z-20-63. The location is 575 and 585 Boulevard Place. The change is to rezone from R5 Beltline to MR4A Beltline. 20-0-1646, Z-20-64. The location is 552 Boulevard Place. The change is to rezone from R5 Beltline to MRMU Beltline. 20-0-1647, Z-20-65. The location is 846, 852, 860, and 872 White Street. The change is to rezone from R4A HC20G Beltline to PDH Historic 20G / Beltline. Number 17, 20-0-1648, Z-20-66. The location is 1565 Moreland Avenue, rear. The change is from R4 to MRC1. 20-0-1649, Z-20-67. The location is 1095 Tucker Avenue. The change is to rezone from RG3 HC20M Beltline to RG3 HC20M Beltline for a site plan amendment. Item number 19, 20-0-1650, Z-20-68. The location is 572 and 578 Parkway Drive Northeast, 404 and 408, and 412 Linden Avenue. The change is from RG4 to MR4B. 20-0-1651, U-20-14. The location is 627 English Avenue. This is a special use permit for a community center. And item number 21, 20-0-1652, U-20-15. The location is 1160 West Conway Drive, and this is a special use permit for a civic club. The motion on all of these is to refer to ZRB and Zoning Committee.
Motion is to refer. Is there a second? Oh, those are on first read, so they will be referred as indicated. Thank you.
And that ends my report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now we will go to Committee on Council, the Honorable J.P. Matsakite, Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. First item on the agenda is public comment. If you could please play the public comment.
Greetings to you, members and staff of the City of Atlanta Committee on Council. A special greetings to you, citizens of Atlanta who are watching and are listening to your government in action. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. Issue number 1. At its meeting this past Saturday, October 17th, the Atlanta Planning Advisory Board set in motion to change its bylaws eliminate the title of APAP Committee on Council and change it to APAP Committee on APAP. While there is value in establishing an APAP committee to protect against the antics of some APAC officers, the new committee should not be created at the expense of that critical oversight committee, APAP Committee on Council. May wiser heads prevail. Issue number 2. In a 2015 article describing how Ben Howard and MARCI were being railroaded out of Neighborhood Planning Unit R, Creative Loafing stated that some Neighborhood Planning Unit chairs see the NTU as their own fiefdom. In an unethical and demeaning manner, Neighborhood Planning Unit R citizens are required to enter the name Antonita before being allowed to participate in an NTUR virtual meeting via Zoom. Inasmuch as ethics falls under the purview of this committee, I ask that you declare it unethical that the public must pay homage to Antonita the Great or to any vainglorious individual before being allowed to fully participate as a citizen of Atlanta. Be advised, however, that should you find it reasonable to comply with this request, you will be met with fierce resistance by those who protect and defend the NTUR 9 agenda, namely Antonita Robinson, Wallace Blair, Ricardo Jacobs, Annette L. Scott, Alfred White, Allison Hathaway, Sherry Williams, and the NTUR 9 cohort. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our public comment. Next item on the agenda is Communication 20C0097, which is a communication from Council members CARLA Smith, Amir Faroki, Antonio Brown, CLETA Winslow, and Michael Julian Bond, appointing Ms. Allison Coughlin to serve as a member of the Atlanta Reproductive Justice Commission. This was favorable at the Community Development Human Services Committee on the 13th of October, 2020. The motion is to approve.
Okay, the motion is to confirm. Is there a second?
Second, Smith.
Second by Smith. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? Ms. Winslow, thank you. Ms. Archibald, how do you vote? Okay, Ms. Ide, how do you vote?
Yes.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is confirmed. Next item.
All right, the next item is 20R4431, which is a resolution by Council Member Michael Julian Bond to establish a task force to determine an appropriate manner to honor esteemed residents of Southwest Atlanta, Hank Aaron, John Lewis, Joseph E. Lowry, Cordy Tidwell, T.T. Vivian, and Andrew Young for being recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom and for other purposes. The motion is to approve.
Second, Smith.
Motion is to adopt by Massacite, second by Smith. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Clerk, you can open the vote.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Ms. Archibald, how do you vote? All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
All right, there's one item on the held.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Go ahead. Ms. Archibald? Ms. Archibald, did you want to speak? Please make sure Ms. Archibald is unmuted.
No. I'm voting, but you keep asking how am I voting. Is my vote not being captured?
I captured it. It just seemed to be a little delayed, but it did come up.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Proceed, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Madam President. There is one item that's on held. It's number 6, and we need to bring it forward with a substitute, and the substitute would add 10 locations to the caption.
Let's have a motion to bring forward the substitute before you read the caption.
Yeah, a motion to bring forward the substitute for 20-1596.
Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Okay, motion by Masakai, second by Brown to bring forward the substitute. And let's open the vote on bringing forward the substitute. And which item is this again? 1596?
Yes, it's number 6, 20-1596.
Okay, let's open the vote on bringing forward the substitute.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Shook? Okay, he voted, and we have all votes cast, Mr. Clark.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. (14 yeas, 0 nays).
14 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before us, Mr. Chair. You can read the caption.
All right, thank you. And this substitute was in the packet that was circulated earlier today. This is 20-1596. It's a substitute ordinance by Committee on Council to amend the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Section 66-2, precinct boundary lines and polling places by amending the 2017 precincts and polling places ordinances in Fulton County precincts listed herein. Due to displacement, decrease in the number of voters assigned to facilities, renovations completed, closing of facility, logistical concerns, a name change to facility, and emergency precinct and polling place changes. The motion is to approve.
I would ask you, just for the public, if you would read the precinct numbers. I know it's a lot, but
certainly. Be happy to. Let me reread that for you. This is 20-1596, which is a substitute ordinance by Committee on Council to amend City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Section 66-2, precinct boundary lines and polling places by amending the 2017 precincts and polling places ordinance in Fulton County precincts 1F, 2I, 2K, 4X1, 4X2, 6G, 9F, 10K, 10R, 11H, 2L1, 12S, 4F, 9M, 9A, 11R, 12E1, 12L, 7C, 8P, 9G, 9H, 4V, 12J, 12F, 8L, 8G, 5A1, 3T, 3C, 4K, 3I, 2L2, 2S, 5K, 6B, 6J, 8N1, 8N2, 11P, 11E3, 1D, 1E, 7E, 7N, 11N, 6D, 12A, 2A, 11M, 9K, 8H, 2F1, 2F2, 7M, 5J, 11B, and 7A due to COVID-19 displacement, decrease in the number of voters assigned to facilities, renovations completed, closing of facility, logistical concerns, a name change of facility and emergency precinct and polling place changes. And the motion is to adopt.
The motion is to adopt. Is there a second?
Second, Smith.
Second by Smith. Motion by MARCI. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we are ready to vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Ms. Smith was the seconder. Mr. Clerk, all votes are cast with Mr. Dickens is on my system as the seconder, but it was actually Ms. Smith.
Do we know we'll make those?
I've for some reason lost my connection. This is Carla.
Okay, you're on. We've got you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
I have one announcement, Madam Chair. That is with regard to the Elected Officials Compensation Commission. They will be holding a public hearing via Zoom on Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at 3 p.m. as required by the City Charter, and the Elected Officials Compensation Commission makes recommendations on the salaries of the next class of elected officials beginning in January 2020, including the mayor, city council, president, council members, and the Atlanta School Board members. Details can be found on the city council webpage, and the public can leave a 2-minute comment between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. by dialing 404-330-6090 on the day before the meeting. That ends my report.
Thank you. And if someone could make sure that's in a PDF that the council members can share with the public, that would be great. All right. So now I'll entertain a motion to exit the committee of the whole.
So moved.
So moved. Second, MARCI.
Motion by Smith, second by MARCI to exit the committee of the whole. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. We have exited the committee of the whole. Now I entertain a motion to adopt in growth all actions taken in the committee of the whole.
So moved, Smith.
Second, Hill.
Motion by Smith, second by MARCI to adopt all actions taken in growth in the committee of the whole. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, let's open the vote on adopting in growth all items, all action taken in the committee of the whole.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. All items taken in the committee of the whole have been adopted in growth. Thank you. We will now move to Public Safety and Legal Administration. Dustin Hillis, Vice Chair. The Honorable Dustin Hillis, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. We have no report. All business was taken care of in committee.
Thank you. We now move to Transportation Committee. The Honorable ANDREA DICKENS, Chair.
We're on the Transportation Committee?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought that's what you said. So we do not have a report. We completed all of our work in committee, but we did decide that we were going to have a Transportation Committee work session on sidewalk funding, and that will take place on December 9th at 5 p.m. And we will we'll make sure that the public gets notified. It's pretty far in advance, but we did decide we wanted to end this year with discussions with the public related to sidewalk funding. So December 9th at 5 p.m. And that completes the report of the Transportation Committee.
Good job. Thank you very much. Finance Executive Committee, the Honorable Jennifer I, Chair.
Council President, Mr. Shook was going to give our report.
Sure. Okay. Honorable Vice Chair, Mr. Howard Shook.
Thank you. Today's seance can be picked up on page 42, and the first order of business is 20-01610, an ordinance by Finance Exec authorizing the CFO on behalf of AIM to accept the revenue share in the amount of $529.59 from Changing Environment Inc. and authorizing the CFO to amend, etc. The motion is to file.
Motion is to file. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to file.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is filed. Next item.
Thank you. That's Resolution 20R 4460, resolution by Finance Exec authorizing the mayor order designate issue a task order as follows with Ruby and Superiors Inc. for the purpose of construction of an ammunition and supply building on behalf of D. Any amount not to exceed $183,920.39, or what to be charged to the sources indicated. Motion is to file.
Motion's to file. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's open the vote on the motion to file.
Please vote. The vote is now open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is filed. Next item.
Thank you. And finally, 20R4464 is an amended resolution by the mayor ordered this date to enter into amendment number 1 to the FC indicated job order contracting services with the contractors which are indicated at the Department of Aviation and watershed management as authorized users of these contracts on a task order basis and for other purposes. This comes forward favorably with from committee. There was one abstention, which was actually me. I needed to check up on something, and I make a motion to adopt.
Okay, there's a motion to adopt. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item. Oh, you said that was the last one. Any announcement?
That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Shook. We now move to City Utilities Committee. The Honorable Madeline Archibald, Chair.
Thank you very much, Council President Moore. We do not have a report at this time, and we do not have any announcements. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you very much. Now, our final standing committee, Community Development Human Services Committee, the Honorable Matt Westmoreland, Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. We have two items. The first is 20-C-
It broke, right?
Please, Ms. Winslow.
I know, it's something.
Ms. Winslow, please mute your phone.
I apologize.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
The first item is 20-C-0098, a communication from Marianne Cameron, Chair of the Audit Committee, submitting the Performance Audit Report Tree Trust Fund, and the motion is to file.
Motion is to file. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to file.
Please vote. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hiller? All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is filed.
Thank you very much. Next item is 20-R-4375, a resolution by Councilmember CARLA Smith, as amended by the Community Development and Human Services Committee, authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Atlanta and the Atlanta Development Authority doing business as Invest Atlanta for the purpose of further aligning its workforce development services provided by WorkSource Atlanta, and for other purposes. This comes to the body favorable as amended, 6 yeas, 1 abstention, and I will make a motion to adopt.
Motion is to adopt. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we're ready to vote on the motion to adopt.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. We have now concluded all of the standing committees. The council will, after a motion, go into executive session, and that will be for the purpose of getting an update from our legal department on outstanding legal matters. For the public, we will be back, and when we return, we will have our papers for immediate consideration, referral, and then general remarks and adjourning roll call. So I will first then go to the law department just again to state the purposes in which we're going into executive session. Is anyone from the law department available? Okay, well, I think I stated it. Okay,
hello,
go ahead.
No, this is she. I'm sorry. I thought you could hear me. This is Nina Hickson, City Attorney. The purpose of the executive session is to discuss pending litigation.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session.
So moved. Westmoreland.
Second, Hillis.
Motion by Westmoreland, second by Hillis. Any discussion on entering executive session? Hearing none, let's open the...
Well, yeah, request Shook. Could someone text me the access information, please?
Okay. Please text Mr. Shook the number. Text it again to everyone.
And Madam President, I need it as well, Winslow.
Okay, we're going to send it to everyone. So let's open the vote on entering executive session. Open the vote.
Please vote. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Bond? Ms. Ide?
In favor.
Thank you. All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. We are now in executive session. I will ask all members to please hang up from the public line, call into the secured line, and please indicate with the speaker button when you are in the executive session so I'll know who's in attendance. Thank you. We'll be right back. Thank you. And I will wait until I see a majority of members. Okay. Ms. Winslow, have you joined us? Let's give it another minute.
Madam President?
Yes.
Yeah. Howard Chuck, I did not receive the requested access information, so I missed the executive session. So as you are the presiding officer, I'm going to ask you to ask the city attorney to call me personally immediately after adjournment of this meeting so that I'm on the same playing field. Thank you.
Yes, I will do so, and I will ask Mr. Pace to find out what happened as to why you didn't receive it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Madam City Attorney, if you can do that. Mr. Clerk, let's do a quick roll call, and then we'll vote on coming out of executive session.
President Felicia Moore.
Present.
Council members Michael Julian Bond.
Here.
Matt Westmoreland.
Here.
ANDREA Dickens.
Here.
CARLA Smith.
Here.
Amir Faroki.
Here.
Antonio Brown.
Here.
CLETA Winslow.
Present.
Madeline Archibald.
Here.
Jennifer I.
Here.
Howard Shook.
Aye.
JP McIkite.
Here.
Dustin Hillett.
Here.
Andrea Boone.
Present.
MARCI Collier Overstreet.
Present.
JOYCE Shepard. I'm present, Madam President.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to exit executive session.
So moved, Massachusetts. Second, Massachusetts.
Okay, motion, was that Brown?
Yes, Madam President.
And second by Massachusetts to exit executive session. Let's open the vote if there's no discussion. Let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? Can we check and make sure Ms. Winslow is unmuted? Okay. Ms. Ide, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Winslow, one more time. Okay, so let's close the vote. I think Ms. Winslow is still on the other line. Hopefully she'll realize she needs to switch back over. I think we have all the votes cast, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, 13 yeas, 0 nays.
13 yeas, 0 nays. We have exited executive session. Now we are on personal papers for immediate consideration. I don't have any, or any members. Do any members have any that I'm not aware of? Okay. If not, now we will go to personal papers for referral. I will start at the bottom of the list today and go up. I don't know if Ms. Winslow has joined us. Okay, then I'll go to Mr. Westmoreland, followed by Shook and Overstreet. Mr. Westmoreland.
All right. Victory for the W's. First piece of legislation is ELMS number 22716. It's an ordinance by Councilmember Matt Westmoreland authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $1,000 from the Post 2 at Large Carry Forward account to the Chalet Peyton Woods Community Association to support ongoing neighborhood projects and for other purposes.
Finance Executive Committee.
ELMS number 22717, an ordinance by Councilmember Matt Westmoreland authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $1,000 from the Post 2 at Large Carry Forward account to the Collier Heights Community Association to support ongoing neighborhood projects and for other purposes.
Finance Executive Committee.
ELMS number 22719, an ordinance by Councilmember Matt Westmoreland authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $1,000 from the Post 2 at Large Carry Forward account to Park Pride to assist in funding improvements to the Underwood Hills Park and for other purposes.
Finance Executive Committee.
And finally, ELMS number 22724, an ordinance by Council members Matt Westmoreland, Amir Faroki, Andrea Boone, Andre Dickens, Antonio Brown, Jennifer Ide, Dustin Hillis, Michael Julian Bond, MARCI Collier Overstreet, Carla Smith, and Natalie Mosby Archibong, an ordinance to protect Atlanta's legacy residents and prohibit the predatory tactics used to harass homeowners into selling their property and becoming the victims of equity theft, and for other purposes.
Community Development Human Services Committee.
Thank you.
Mr. Shook.
Thank you. I'm not aware I have it.
Okay. I have water sewer refund paper, but if you don't know, we'll keep moving.
No. No, water sewer refund. That's good.
Okay.
If someone can read it in.
I don't know if anyone has the paper.
Well,
so
I don't.
We'll move on. They can introduce it in committee. All right. The next will be Ms. Overstreet, Massacite, followed by Dickens. Ms. Overstreet.
Okay, so the first paper is an ordinance by MARCI Collier Overstreet, Councilmember MARCI Collier Overstreet, an ordinance authorizing funding for grant positions under the 2019 Community Development Budget, the 2019 Emergency Solutions Grant Budget, the 2019 Home Investment Budget, the 2019 Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS Budget, and Section 8, and for other purposes. It's ELMS number 22721.
22721, Community Development Human Services Committee.
Okay. Next, a resolution by Councilmember MARCI Collier Overstreet, a resolution requesting the Commissioner of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to develop a sidewalk master plan, which will prioritize the installation of sidewalks in high injury areas on streets where mass transit is provided and any other highly traveled corridors of the city and for other purposes. That's ELMS number 22702.
Transportation Committee. The next would be, is that it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Next
I don't
paper.
have it on the list, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, these two were just given to me right now. I'm sponsoring those. An ordinance by Councilmember MARCI Collier Overstreet, an ordinance authorizing the Chief Financial Officer or his designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to transfer an amount not to exceed $135,447.22 from the fiscal year 2021 general fund budget to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to satisfy an outstanding repayment for disallowed costs from the HOPWA 2018 grant and to authorize the transfer of expenditures in the amount designated above the 2018 HOPWA grant to general fund account and for other purposes.
And the ELMS number?
22710.
22710. Community Development, Human Services, and Finance Executive Committee.
Okay, one more. An ordinance by Councilmember MARCI Collier Overstreet, an ordinance amending Ordinance 20-0-1260 to extend the deadline which the Atlanta City Council must adopt a plan regarding the deployment of City of Atlanta Department of Corrections personnel from November 2nd, 2020 to February 1st, 2021, and for other purposes. The ELMS number is 22707.
22707, Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
And that's it. Thank you.
All right. So we'll go now to Matsakite, Dickens, Brown, and then Bond.
All right, the first is ELMS number 22727. It's an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing a donation in amount not to exceed $5,000 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to the Atlanta Police Foundation to assist the Peachtree Heights West with the purchase of a license plate reader or video camera and for other purposes.
Finance Executive Committee.
And the next is 22713, which is an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing a donation in the amount of $5,000 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to the Atlanta Police Foundation to assist the Peachtree Battle Alliance with the purchase of one license plate reader or video camera and for other purposes.
Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you.
Mr. Dickens.
Okay. Let me read them. So short term. Sorry. All right. So the first one is a resolution by Councilmember Andre Dickens, a resolution requesting the Commissioner of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to develop a street lighting plan in the interest of promoting safety along city streets and for other purposes. That is ELMS ID 22700.
Okay, Transportation Committee.
All right, and the next one is an ordinance by Council members Andre Dickens, Matt Westmoreland, Jennifer Ide, Amir Faroki, Antonio Brown, and Michael Julian Bond, an ordinance to provide for the regulation and taxation of short-term rentals within the city of Atlanta and for other purposes, and that is ELMS ID 22711.
22711. And who is doing the regulation? Is it
this will be in
the
city
police
planning.
department or just all planning? Okay. CDHS.
All right. And an ordinance by Council Member Andre Dickens, an ordinance authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $1,000.00 from the Post 3 at Large carry forward account to Park Pride to assist in funding improvements to the Underwood Hills Park and for other purposes. And that ELMS number is 22706.
Finance Executive Committee.
And the last one is an ordinance by Council Member Andre Dickens, an ordinance to temporarily waive the provisions of Part 2, Chapter 22, Article 3, Division 7, Subdivision 3, Section 22-236, Subsection 8, for a period of 6 months in response to the COVID-19 pandemic crisis and for other purposes. I think I skipped some stuff in here. An ordinance to temporarily waive the provisions of Part 2, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 22, Article 3, Hartsville-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport, Division 7, Ground Transportation Services, Subdivision 3, Taxi Cabs generally, Section 22-236, Conditions for Use at the Airport, Subsection 8, for a period of 6 months in response to the COVID-19 pandemic crisis and for other purposes. And that is ELMS 22712. Okay, 22712.
22712 to transportation.
All right.
Is that it?
For me.
All right, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. A resolution by Council members Antonio Brown, Matt Westmoreland, Andre Dickens, Justin Hillis, Jennifer Ide, Howard Shook, Amir Faroki, Michael Julian Bond, CARLA Smith, Madeline Archibald, ANDREA Boone, and MARCI Overstreet. A resolution requesting the Commissioner of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to conduct a study to determine the feasibility of establishing a workforce trade program for the purposes of training and hiring city employees for transportation, infrastructure related construction project positions, and for other purposes.
And this is for the Transportation Commissioner?
Correct.
To develop, okay. Please mute your phone if you're not talking. I think that, I'm not sure who that is. I'm not going to call names. I wasn't going to call names, Mr. Brown. So that's a transportation work. It's for transportation to do the work plan. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
Okay. Transportation Committee.
Thank you, Madam
President.
Mm-hmm. Elms number 22703, a resolution by Councilmember Antonio Brown requesting that the City of Atlanta Department of Human Resources work with all city departments to develop a preliminary plan that would outline opportunities for eligible City of Atlanta employees to work remotely post the COVID-19 pandemic and for other purposes.
Finance Executive Committee.
That's all my legislation, Madam President. Thank you.
Okay, I have one more, but I guess you're not doing that one, so we'll go to Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Madam President. I've got the two pieces of legislation. First, I need to add some names. An ordinance. Ordinance by Michael Julian Bond, Dustin Ellis, Carla Smith, Andrea L. Boone, and J.P. Mazakite. An ordinance amending the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Chapter 62, Article 1, Section 62-31, entitled Bail Established Under Certain Circumstances in order to require the detention of a defendant until initial appearance hearing for certain vehicular offenses related to street racing which create dangers to persons or property and for other purposes. And the Elms number ID is 22705.
22705 to Public Safety Legal Administration.
Okay. And got one more. Pull this up.
And Mr. Shook, I do see you waiting. I'll get you right after Ms. Winslow.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm having a problem pulling my other.
Okay. Let me come back to you, Mr.
No, I got it. Okay. An ordinance by Michael Julian Bond, an ordinance to restrict on-street parking on certain portions of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Northwest to designate a loading zone on certain portions of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Northwest and for other purposes. And the Elms ID is 21295.
21295, the Transportation Committee. Thank you. Ms. Winslow, are you ready?
Yeah, Mr. Webb is going to read mine.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, if you can bear with me while I pull up these screenshots that I just received.
Okay. Let me come back to you, Mr. Webb, and let me do Mr. Shook.
I have it now.
Okay, go ahead.
An ordinance by Councilmember CLETA Winslow, an ordinance authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $500 from the District 4 carry forward account to Just Us to support community needs and for other purposes.
Elms number?
I do not have.
22722. It's 22722 to Finance Executive Committee. Thank you. Mr. Shook and then Ms. Smith.
Yeah, thank you. This is Elms 22708, which is a resolution by Howard Shook authorizing the CFO to refund customers for overpayments to water and sewer amounts in the amount of blank, all be charged to, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Finance Executive Committee, and that is Elms number 22708.
Yep.
Ms. Smith?
Elms number 22715, a resolution by Councilmember Carla Smith authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into a special procurement with Mythix, Inc. for Oracle, HCM, ERP, EPM, and PAAS software support and maintenance on behalf of the Department of Finance in an amount not to exceed $4,200,112.02, effective November 23rd, 2020 to November 22nd, 2023, for 3 years with 1 year renewal term options. All contracted work shall be paid to and paid from funding numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Okay, and that is Elms number 22715, Finance Executive.
Thank you.
Finance Executive, thank you.
Okay, and then my next
others?
Wait, I have two more. I'm sorry. Elms number 22723. It's an ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith authorizing the Atlanta Development Authority, doing business as Invest Atlanta, to make an economic opportunity fund grant to BlackRock Financial Management in an amount not to exceed $500,000 in accordance with the intergovernmental agreement for economic development and redevelopment services between the City of Atlanta and Invest Atlanta, amending provisions of Ordinance 16-0-1623 so as to authorize the use of funding allocated therein to support the BlackRock EOF grant, to waive conflicting ordinances for this instance only and for other purposes.
Okay, 22723, the Community Development and Human Services Committee.
And I have Elms number 22725, an ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith amending the City of Atlanta fiscal year 2021 general fund budget by transferring to and from appropriations the amount of $1,610,737.21 for the purpose of funding and authorizing the Atlanta Development Authority, doing business as Invest Atlanta, to make middle wage job economic opportunity fund MWJ EOF grants to incentivize the attraction, retention, and expansion of middle wage jobs within the city pursuant to that intergovernmental agreement for economic development and redevelopment services between the City of Atlanta and Invest Atlanta, to provide for a written report to the City Council regarding the expenditure of MWJ EOF funds in accordance with the intergovernmental agreement, to waive conflicting ordinances for this instance only and for other purposes.
22725 to CDHS and Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. That is all that I have today.
All right. Are there any other papers for referral?
Andrea Boone.
Yes, Ms. Boone, go ahead.
An ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or her designee to prohibit parking at the intersection of Chaucer Drive and Harlan Road Southwest, to waive Section 15092 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, to authorize the Department of Transportation to install signage at the appropriate locations along the prohibited area and for other purposes. That is Elms number 22730.
22730 to Transportation Committee.
Next item, a resolution by Councilmember Andrea Boone, a resolution authorizing the mayor or designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into Amendment Number 2 EAS 1200484, a temporary housing for high-risk unsheltered people experiencing homelessness due to the COVID-19 pandemic with FG Management LLC for the purpose of extending the term of the agreement through March 31st, 2021. All contracted services will be charged to and paid from accounts listed herein and for other purposes. Elms number 2270.
Is there another number? 22 what?
2270. Sims number 2270.
Okay, it's usually 5 numbers, but I'll go with that. 2270, CDA, yes, committee.
We'll verify that. An ordinance, next item, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, an ordinance authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to transfer $4,666,000 and 0 cents to the Downtown Development Authority, DBA Invest Atlanta, in order to address affordable housing in the city of Atlanta and for other purposes. Films number 22728.
22728. I got distracted. Someone was sending me a text. Could you just read the caption? What's the gist of it again?
An ordinance authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to transfer $4,666 and 12 cents to the Downtown Development Authority, DBA Invest Atlanta, in order to address affordable housing in the city of Atlanta and for other purposes.
Okay, CDHS and Finance Executive Committee, 22728, sorry.
Correct. An ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, an ordinance amending 2001335 by transfer from anticipation and appropriations in the amount of $147,000 for the purpose of reallocating the funds of intergovernmental fund budget and adding to anticipations and appropriations in the amount of $147,000. Authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta for the purpose of funding the project and entering into agreement with project sponsor to provide emergency support to vulnerable populations during the COVID-19 pandemic and for other purposes. Films number 22720.
22720. Yes. To CDHS and Finance Executive Committee.
The last item I have, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, an ordinance authorizing the amending of 2021 Community Development Budget by adding to anticipation and appropriations Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, in the amount of $3,703,600 and 0 cents, and Emergency Solutions Grant, ESG, in the amount of $10,965,024 and 0 cents, available to the city through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, for the protection of the general public during this health crisis, authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta and to substantially amend the city's 2015 to 2019 consolidated plan for the purpose of funding various projects and enter into agreements with project sponsors to provide emergency support to vulnerable populations during the COVID-19 pandemic using funds and for other purposes. A 5-day public comment period is required prior to adoption, and a public hearing will be held at a later date. Elms number 22718.
22718 to CDHS Committee.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any other papers for referral? Ms. Smith?
Did Mr. Shook get his? I'm texting them, and I think somebody can send it, and I can read it in unless he already got it.
He did it.
Okay, perfect.
Any other papers for referral? Okay, if not, we're now at general remarks. I do have one. I just want to read that Fulton and DeKalb County offers 4 options to cast a vote. Early voting is taking place now, so there are 4 options. There's early voting, there's absentee by mail or drop-box voting, there's in-person election day voting. The post office has recommended requesting your absentee ballot by Tuesday, October the 20th, which is tomorrow. So please, if you're going to mail it, it must be in the mailbox tomorrow. Although the official legal deadline is Friday, October 30th, prior to the November 3rd election day. Should you change your mind regarding casting your requested absentee ballot by mail or drop-box voting, you can take your blank or incomplete absentee ballot to the precinct with you and vote in person. So you can vote in person, and you can take your ballot with you and tell them you want to cancel that and you want to vote in person. I would suggest you consider using the drop boxes, or you can put it in the mail by tomorrow on the suggestion of the post office. Okay. Any other general comments? I see Mr. Shook.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to hearing from the city attorney. Thank you.
Okay. I think she's got your message, and we'll be calling you directly. Anyone else with general comments? All right. We will now take the adjourning roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Today's meeting was held in accordance with 50-14-1. The adjourning roll call is President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members Michael Julian Bond. Here. Matt Westmoreland. Here. Andre Dickens. Here. Carla Smith.
Here.
Amir Faroki. Antonio Brown. Here. CLETA Winslow.
Present.
Natalie Archibald.
Here.
Jennifer Hyde. Howard Shook.
Aye.
JP Massaquite. Here. Dustin Hillett. Here. Andrea Boone.
Present.
Marci Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Joyce Shepard. Thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Hillis.
So moved by Hillis. Is there a second?
Second, Smith.
Second by Smith. Well, there is no discussion. So without objection, on unanimous consent of members present, we hereby stand adjourned. Everyone stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Good meeting.